Hey there, guys. Cubby and Bobby here with our Marvel news segment for you. And we're going to start off with a little bit of Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. news. I don't know if you've been watching it.
Of course I have. It's the top of my list.
Man, you have?
Yeah, of course.
Oh, I think you haven't.
Of
really?
course. Yeah, I love Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
It's actually getting really good.
I think it started off slow.
Yeah, it was dragging.
But it found its footing.
There's still things that I don't like Centipede instead of like AIM or any of the established things. But either way, it's getting better. They're doing a lot more cool things. They actually have a special coming out. It's more of a all-around Avengers entertainment special, but they're going to focus a little bit more on what's coming up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in the future. They're also going to show Winter Soldier footage, Guardians of the Galaxy footage, and our very first look at Age of Ultron.
Yep. The reason I like this whole news a lot is because it reminds me when I was a kid. I used to watch wrestling religiously. WCW was my shit.
I was a WWF guy. But.
And when an event was coming up, they would have a show the week before. It was like half hour, and they would just have some talks and stuff like that. They'd show some footage, some interviews and stuff like that. I went crazy for those shows, and this is exactly what that is. I mean, they're getting us prepped. It's a prep show.
It's like it's fallen under that Disney banner, so now it's like Wonderful World of Disney, but Wonderful World of Marvel.
Yeah, it was like the beginning of TGIF.
Awesome. Yeah, totally. Oh my god.
It's like they got you excited for what was the episodes that were going to air that.
Do you remember when they redid Tomorrowland and it was like nothing but Tomorrowland for like weeks? Oh, that was the best for me.
Yeah, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Disney purchasing Marvel is a good idea.
It's a really good thing. And we've been talking about this for a while, and I still think it's a really good thing. So either way, March 18th, that's going to premiere. That's
the first thing. Next up, there was a lot of Fantastic Four stuff. A backlash, really, for Michael B. Jordan being casted as the Human Torch. Just
throw this out there. Personally, I'm not down with it, but I wouldn't say it's because, it's stupid. It just doesn't make sense to change the race of a character when you don't change the sister's race.
In my opinion, I think that they're... Yeah, I think that they're kind of mining for coverage in this when it comes to this, because I don't think any real fanboys care that they've changed the race. It's the fact that we have a brother and sister team, and one of them is not the same race as the other. Okay, if we're going to pull a Foster, why even mess with it? Why even mess with it? We could have made a untethered character a different race, and none of us would have gotten upset. It's the fact that these are a brother and sister team up. It doesn't make sense now. So.
The movie's not even out yet. They'll totally have time to explain it and make it make sense or whatever. There's other things that are more pressing to me, like Reed Richards being who he is. Like I'll give it its chance. Obviously, they're a younger group of dudes, but pretty much Anthony Mackie, who plays the Falcon, came out and said that Michael B. Jordan, he didn't really deal with that backlash that Michael B. Jordan's dealing with, but
because they casted him as Falcon, an actual African American character, so it's no big deal. I don't even understand why they asked him. It's like he has no affiliation with this.
Hey, you're black. You could probably talk about this other black guy.
This is exactly what I feel like. It's mining.
It's like
coverage,
they should have asked him what do you think about Jamie Foxx being Max Dillon?
Yeah,
like it makes no sense.
That's a perfect example. We don't care that they changed the race of him at all. Yeah, Nobody cares. No one even said anything.
Doesn't change. If they changed the Falcon to a white guy, do you think it would have been a big deal?
I mean, it would be a big deal. Not to us.
No,
it would be a big deal to some people, for sure. I mean, and next up is Matthew Vaughn talking about the franchise and claims that the film is what does he say? The film will have nothing to do with the previous things, which is obvious, I think, at this point.
I feel like that generation of comic book movie is behind us.
Yeah, for sure.
With Chronicle, with stuff like Chronicle, stuff like, to a certain extent, the Avengers. I would say the Avengers is more along the lines of like a classic comic book movie, a little all over the place. But things like Chronicle and the Dark Knight trilogy kind of made things a little more real, a little more grounded. And Watchmen and Sin City just made it to where you have to make something that's fairly consistent and like true to form. Yeah. So I feel the Fantastic Four is going to go back in that direction.
And that's but that's the thing with the original Fantastic Four franchise. They did a whole bunch of stuff wrong. Yeah. But one thing that they got right was trying to make their main characters look like the source material. You know? And
which they did that pretty well. I just think that technology and certain things, like, yeah, they're groundbreaking back then and it looked awesome, but I mean, if you go look and watch those movies again, I don't think they're going to stand up that well.
Yeah, no.
So hopefully we get some classics in the making right now.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough.
Soon enough.
Yeah, so next up there's some Chris Evans news, I believe.
Yes,
yeah.
He actually was talking about his time as Captain America. When he's done with it, I guess he actually wants to take a break from acting.
Yeah, he wants to, because he directed this 1:30 Train movie, and he wants to get more into that because the primary reason is because he feels like he's a small piece in a gigantic puzzle when he's an actor, and he can be a part of every single thing when he's a director. So,
which is cool. He wants to grow as a person and an individual. It sucks because I really like him as Captain America, and I think if they did like a Captain America head of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of thing,
yeah.
It'd be awesome as him, kind of like a little bit older, but not too old.
That's where it gets interesting with what I read. They explain it like they understand where Chris Evans is coming from because other characters in the Avengers, turn green and can, fly out of the solar system and stuff like that. But they kind of downplay Captain America like he's not an important character or like his abilities aren't really,
But it's the fact that he isn't an extraordinary character that makes him an extraordinary
exactly character. And they even mention that he's doing everything for the greater good, and his own ambitions are last. They come last, and that's big. That's what every other character, powers or not, is striving to be, and so he's pivotal.
I think so.
At least the Marvel universe, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Like, he's not considered one of the big three, Superman, right. Batman, Wonder Woman, DC's big three.
Right.
I don't think they consider him because he's not the big seller. It's like Wolverine, Hulk, Spider-Man. Those are usually the Marvel big three, which makes a little more sense because that's Marvel's kind of style, more of like a real character, someone who you can connect with a little more. Those are all characters you can connect with way more. Captain America's a little harder, but definitely if you look at the stature of characters, the way everyone looks at someone, I mean, he's up there with Superman, with the way everyone regards him in the DC universe as he's the ultimate.
Yeah.
That's Captain America for the Marvel universe because he's not Superman.
Yes.
He's the peak of human physical being.
But he's
super powerful and stuff, but he's still a dude.
He's still making human decisions.
Yes.
Man of Steel does not have to do that. He's making otherworldly decisions with, and we can argue that all night.
Years.
I still love Superman. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But they're different characters in their own way, but similar as well.
I really like Chris Evans as Captain America.
Yeah.
I think he did a really good job, and I did not think he was going to do as good of a job.
Right. It was a little scary at first because of him being already Human Torch and stuff. And he was a lot thinner back then.
Yeah. And even. Not Another Teen movie, man.
Yeah.
Come on, he was in Not Another Teen movie.
Hey, don't knock it, man.
I'm not going to knock it, but he had a banana in his ass in that movie, and it's hilarious. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Cream over his
That's also
pecs.
Captain America. You have to think about that every now and then. So moving on.
Moving on, yeah. Thomas Kretschmann was cast, or getting close to cast, moved to a 3-movie deal to play Baron von Strucker in Age of Ultron. So
that's gonna be sweet.
That's huge news because we get another character. They do say that he's going to be kind of a smaller character in the beginning of it, but he's going to actually be a big part of how Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver are kind of implemented into the storyline.
Which I just need to say, after watching the Godzilla trailer again, Aaron Johnson, cannot wait to see him as Quicksilver.
Right.
And plus seeing the Quicksilver for X-Men. Totally doesn't look as cool as I want it to be. And I really hope Age of Ultron Quicksilver is like.
They haven't let us down. Avengers
high hopes for that character. Yeah. That's one of my favorites. So hopefully that turns out really well.
Oh, more Wolverine news.
Yes, and this is actually going along the lines of that Captain America stuff we were talking about, where Hugh Jackman, in particular, is kind of getting a little older, and Wolverine isn't really doing that at all.
Actually, they're taking him to a younger time, so they're
depositing an older Wolverine, mind-wise, into a younger body, which it's only like 40 years, which in Wolverine time is like 2, so it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But still, in real time, Hugh Jackman's getting a lot older. So I wonder how they're going to do that. And I guess they kind of talk about it.
I'll admit something. Because he has been Wolverine in 7 movies now. 7 movies.
Since
his face.
1999.
Yeah. His face and likeness
is Wolverine.
Is Wolverine to me. So this is the craziest thing any fanboy will have ever said, but I would rather see a CGI young Wolverine than a recasted Wolverine.
Yeah. Unless you find someone who looks almost exactly like Hugh Jackman.
Yeah.
Or it has to be someone really, really weird, like Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like something really random.
Yeah, completely out there.
But could probably make sense. Like Daniel Radcliffe probably won't make sense.
I don't think so.
But something along those lines, like it just has to be someone iconic, and Hugh Jackman's totally.
I just think he's synonymous with that character now. So I don't know. Like I said, CGI over recasting for me.
Or they could just wait, not do a Wolverine movie for years, wait until Marvel gets it again, and then do Old Man Logan the way it's supposed to be done.
Yeah, here at Nerdlocker, we actually thought this out. We think maybe 20 years in the future, not in the storyline, 20 years physically, they'd have to make this movie.
Yes. Also, it'd have to be like Spider-Man would have to come back. Yep. Like a lot of things would have to come back to make that a proper Old Man Logan. Send it off, but. I mean, this could be that one movie to spark all over again. I'm
relying on, in the next 10 years, Warner Brothers and Disney Entertainment will get that stuff together and maybe make those two worlds come to one. And then in 20 years, when the superhero movie is now like the cowboy movie, they can kind of go back and remind everyone what a good superhero movie is with Old Man Logan.
Or
like
the zombie movie now. Like it's kind of waning. It's kind of going down.
Yeah.
Like they're not as like, oh, I need to see the zombie movie.
Yeah, for sure.
It's going down a little bit, but 10 years from now, we're probably gonna get one that's gonna be like, oh my god, that was so good.
Yeah. And it'll probably be a foreign film, but who knows?
Hey, who cares? 28 days later.
Yeah. Next up, we got some Spider-Man news with Andrew Garfield and Mark Webb.
It's not really news. They just, again, want to do Spider-Man with the Avengers, which would be great.
It just kind of goes on to what we were just talking about. Mark Webb wants it. Andrew Garfield wants it. All the fans want it. It's a money-making scheme for sure. Yes. I mean, without really screwing anybody in the process, they can make billions of dollars. So I don't know why they're even hesitating. And Mark Webb said that they've had those conversations before and that it just doesn't really go anywhere. I don't know. I think that they're trying to wait until they get their real footing with the 3 Avengers movies and see where that goes after that. But
yeah. And in one of the longest-winded articles I've ever read in my life, for the least amount of information that we already knew, New York Governor Andrew Cuomo came out and pretty much just announced with Disney and Marvel that the Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Iron Fist series are all going to be shot in New York, taking place in Hell's Kitchen. We all knew that already, except that they were going to shoot in New York. That's just like the only bit of news, but yeah. So that's still happening. That's still going. Can't wait for that.
It's going to create like 4,000 jobs. That's what everyone's kind of focusing on. Is that they're pushing so much money into the economy, specifically the New York State economy. So I get it. It's creating a lot of jobs, and I don't want to say it's going to breathe new life into New York as far as show business goes, because they got plenty of it there. But as far as like pre-scripted shows, I don't think that they do too many like television shows there. They got a lot of Broadway. They got a lot of movies.
They do a lot of Law and Orders.
That's probably true. With Law and Order alone, they probably make it.
I think they have enough, but now they're gonna have a little bit more. And I think, if anything, it's just gonna show, depending on how it actually goes, depending on how good these shows are, that we could do something like this. That Netflix can, like they have Orange is the New Black. Yeah. House of Cards. Like they have these amazing original shows. Like they can do it. They can put out some awesome stuff.
My real question,
can't wait for it,
ultimately is just how are they going to set these 4 characters up? Is it going to be one single story? Is it going to be 4 different stories kind of intertwining?
Well, the way it sounded, it's going to be like 52 episodes, 4 characters all in Hell's Kitchen, and it's all going to culminate in a miniseries, 8 parts. So you get a total 60 episodes, and the miniseries is going to be The Defenders. So I think they're going to build towards something, and then it's finally going to come to head. And
but what are they going to call it? That's what. Is it going to be called?
The Defenders.
The whole story, but you said
eventually
the little mini series is going to be is it going to be the Hell's Kitchen? Is it going to be alternative to Gotham? Is what I mean, like the Gotham television show. Are they going to be putting this out right around that same time and have them fighting? That's going to be interesting. Gotham versus Hell's Kitchen, because they're very.
It seems like it's going to come out around the same time, maybe a little bit after Gotham. Yeah. But it seems it's going to be along the same lines. So I'm just stoked that we're getting it in general. Like, I'm just happy.
Yeah. I'm going to let you take this one, the Game of Thrones, Jason Momoa.
Oh, yes. I am very, very passionate about this. Jason, okay. If you guys have been watching Nerdlocker for the past couple months, ever since we found out...
Of course you have.
Ever since we found out about Drax being Batista, which is, in my book, whatever, they already filmed the movie, so I can't complain that much.
You couldn't complain even if they didn't.
But the rumor was that Jason Momoa was supposed to be Drax, meaning that he's Khal Drogo, that he was in Stargate Atlantis, that he's just an awesome, intimidating, giant, barbarian-like creature of a man.
Quiet man, mostly.
Like, he's a quiet dude, Khal Drogo doesn't need to say much. Right. Let's just put it that way, okay?
Pour gold all over someone's skull.
Yes. Anyways, rip someone's throat out.
Yeah,
with
really.
his hands. Anyways, he pretty much said that he dropped out of auditioning for Drax because it was the same character he's done over and over again. And like, I get it, dude, you want to do something else, and apparently he wants to direct. Okay, whatever, man. Like, you're an awesome actor, and you're a great, intimidating figure, and I'm scared of you, even though I think you're like an inch shorter than me, but you could probably rip my throat out with your Khal Drogo powers. And like, I think you would have been perfect as Drax, because Drax is a complex character. Yes, he's quiet. Yes, he's a brute. Yes, he has awesome knives and he murders people. But he actually has like some awesome backstory to him, and he has something to him. He's of substance, akin to Khal Drogo, akin to a lot of other characters you've played. I understand you want to do something different. Cool beans, dude. You do you, and that's all I can say. But like, man.
Like you said, Khal Drogo has an intense backstory, right? Yeah. They did not really cover that.
They don't.
And that's what more than likely will happen.
If you read
He's not going to get.
If you know it, yeah. But I mean, if you do a good job at it, they might do a Drax thing.
I mean, I'm not against him being
Drax. One of the best
miniseries
I've ever read is the Drax miniseries that came out. It was like 06, 07. Marvel Drax. It was so good. It was so good because he's just a cool, intense. He's like Space Wolverine.
Right. Yeah. Drax is awesome. There's no doubt about it. I just think that like I kind of understand where Jason Momoa is coming from.
I get it too.
He's been 3 silent and grunting characters, So I mean, he doesn't want to do it again. I get it.
I get it. I really like him.
Yeah, I understand. But that's all the news we got this week. Check out back next week for more Marvel news and give us some comments in the below.